expert news and views on the Lowcountry real estate scene. The Brian Beatty Real Estate Show on 1250 WTMA.
Welcome back, folks, as the Brian Beatty Real Estate Show continues here on the Big Talker, 1250 WTMA and WTMA.com. I always like to take a moment and just tell y'all how much I appreciate y'all letting me be on this program. I just used y'all a lot. I get that. Been in Charleston for, 22 years now. So I guess y'all is just ingrained in my vocabulary at this point. But anyways, I've been on this program for 10 years, helping you guys become better informed on the housing market here in Charleston. And just want to say thank you. It's a pleasure to be on this program. It's a pleasure to help those that I can. And if I can do that for you, if you need a recommendation for somebody, if you want to talk through a situation, you're thinking of buying, selling, investing, or you have a property that you would like for us to manage through our property management company, feel free to give me a call, 843-800-0065, 843-800-0065, or reach out to us through our website, listingsincharleston.com. So we're going to get just a little political for a moment. There were some tenant leaders, housing experts, and just some organizations in general that are really pushing the Biden administration to do more to make rent affordable. So obviously the Biden administration has been under pressure from all different kinds of folks and organizations with regard to the massive increase in rent that's going on across the country, and then just the overall lack of affordable housing. And, you've got folks that are saying that, not only is it too high, but it's unfair. We've got several entities that they want to essentially mandate rental policies. They're trying to basically streamline and unify leases. They're trying to create parameters in which, like, let's say somebody that is renting a property and the mortgage on that property is backed by Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac, like an FHA loan, then that owner has to give the tenant like 30 days notice before they can begin eviction proceedings. And it's just, people trying to control the real estate market. Now, I get it from a low income, affordable housing, government-based housing, military-based housing. I think creating some uniformity there, probably a good idea. But if some of these things spill over into, everyday consumers, I mean, think about it this way. This is very applicable. Let's say that you are a first-time home buyer and you have been approved for a $300,000 purchase, and you get to use 3.5% down. Well, rather than going and buying just a single property, a house, townhouse, or condo, you could go and buy a multifamily property up to 4 units. And if those 3 other units are rented, then you can count a large percentage of that income towards your own income to qualify for a more expensive property. So instead of you looking at a $300,000 property, now you're looking at a $900,000 property that's rented on 3 sides. That not only covers your payment, but you're now making money every month. You have an investment property that you have acquired, and because it's your primary residence, you don't even have to be a first-time home buyer. It's just your primary residence. You can now benefit from income. Well, they're trying to say that if you have, a Fannie Mae or basically an FHA mortgage, that you're going to have to give them 30 days before you can file eviction proceedings. And for the person that really kind of stretched the budget it's a risky move. Don't get me wrong. It's a risky move, but could be very beneficial for that owner, for that buyer, so long as they have the ability to kind of carry those units when they're not rented. I mean, that would be the worst case scenario, is all 3 tenants leave at the same time, and now you have to figure out a way to afford payments on a $900,000 property, not a $300,000 property. And so they've got some interesting language in here with regard to what they want to change, what they want to add. A lot of it, I think, has to do with, so it's called the Blueprint for a Renter's Bill of Rights. And if you Google this, you can see the actual bill. I printed it off here. I read through it. Frankly, not a lot of it has to do with the general public, but some of it does, and that's what the cause for concern is. But it's basically a 5-parter. It's addressing safe, quality, accessible, and affordable housing, creating clear and fair leases, focusing on education, enforcement, and enhancement of renter rights, the right to organize, and then eviction prevention, diversion, and relief. And there have been tens of billions of dollars that have been deployed over the past few years with regard to these issues. So I encourage you, if this is something of interest to you, to take a look at it, read more about it. But from my perspective, you're paying to borrow someone else's house because you can't afford your own. If you stop making your payments, you can't stay. And what the government's doing or proposing to do is just going to make it harder for the people that actually own the properties to recoup those losses, because you're basically baking in 1 month of what we call vacancy loss, which diminishes their cash flow, which hurts their ability to, use that property as intended, as a cash flowing property. Not many people I know get into real estate just to break even. So interesting things abound. When we come back for just a few minutes, I want to give you a few questions, things that you should be thinking about right now if you want to hire a real estate agent. Okay, these are the good ones, the good questions you want to ask. So stick around for the last few minutes of the Brian Beatty Real Estate Show on the Big Talker 1250 WTMA and WTMA.com.
More stimulating talk on real estate matters with Brian Beatty next on 1250 WTMA.